Today, we're pulling out the blackboard to investigate a huge mystery that's literally tearing the financial world right down the middle right now. We're looking at one big question. Is the traditional 4-year Bitcoin cycle officially dead? Let's do a complete teardown of the data.
Okay, let's dive into this. Is the 4-year Bitcoin cycle dead? You know, for years, this cycle was arguably the most reliable clock in modern finance. I mean, you could practically set your watch by it. But with some massive recent shifts in who's actually buying and holding this asset, top analysts are fiercely debating whether this historical pattern has finally been broken. To understand why this is such a massive deal, we first need to quickly rewind and revisit the exact mechanism that created this cycle in the first place.
And that mechanism is the Bitcoin halving. Embedded deep inside Satoshi Nakamoto's original 2008 code is a hard rule. Every 210,000 blocks, which takes about 4 years to mine, the reward given to miners is slashed exactly in half. It's the ultimate form of programmed scarcity. By instantly cutting the production of new supply in half, this mechanism has historically triggered what economists call a massive supply shock. Because think about it, when demand stays the same or even grows, but new supply is suddenly choked off, basic economics tells us the price absolutely has to react.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how that reaction played out. Looking at the historical data from 2012 and 2016, notice that distinct 12 to 18-month delay. The price doesn't just skyrocket the day the code updates. It takes time for that reduced supply to really dry up liquidity, which eventually triggers a massive, retail-driven frenzy. This lag represents the time it took for the reduced supply to genuinely squeeze the market, leading to those explosive, highly volatile, parabolic price spikes we all remember.
But if we look closely at the objective ledger data today, a totally new trend emerges. We're talking about the law of diminishing returns. After the first halving, we saw an absolutely incredible 12-month gain of over 8,800%. But look at what happens cycle over cycle. The peak multipliers just consistently shrink, from almost 90x down to 29x, down to just 8x. It makes sense, right? As the asset's market cap has swelled into the trillions, it simply takes exponentially more capital to move the needle. Those wild, speculative days of 50x returns are mathematically becoming a thing of the past.
What we're actually witnessing here is a massive structural paradigm shift. We're moving away from the old era, the retail era. That era was all about emotional boom and bust cycles, heavy speculation, massive leverage, and, late-night panic selling. The market was largely driven by pure FOMO, the fear of missing out. But now we've officially entered the new era, the institutional era. The tech startup phase is over, and the Wall Street suits have officially entered the chat. This new market is characterized by regulated spot ETF inflows, sticky capital that doesn't just panic sell at the very first sign of a dip, and a real graduation into a recognized macroeconomic asset.
And absolutely nothing illustrates Wall Street's arrival better than this giant number, $35.2 billion. Let that sink in. This represents the totally unprecedented net inflows into spot Bitcoin ETFs during their very first year alone. When these products launched in January 2024, they completely changed the game. They wiped out the technical barriers, the custody headaches, and all that regulatory uncertainty that had previously kept huge pools of traditional capital sitting on the sidelines.
And as a result of those massive inflows, we've woken up to a new reality. Major institutional players, we're talking absolute titans like BlackRock and Fidelity, now manage over $130 billion in Bitcoin ETF assets. This isn't just speculative day trading money anymore. This represents genuine, strategic allocation by incredibly sophisticated investors. In terms of market mechanics, these massive funds now act as a gigantic structural buy wall, absorbing the supply that used to just slosh around on unregulated exchanges.
This shift is so profound that analysts at Grayscale have officially dubbed this the dawn of the institutional era. And I love this quote because it perfectly encapsulates the thesis that the steady, persistent flow of institutional capital is actively overriding those old retail-fueled cyclical pressures. It's a pivotal transition, going from a market dictated entirely by the halving code to a market driven by sustained, long-term macroeconomic demand.
Now, what's really interesting about this phenomenon is how this new capital effectively builds a brick wall right under the market. Analysts are tracking something called the shrinking crash. Back in the day, when the market turned, retail panic would trigger these cascading liquidations, resulting in absolutely brutal 80% market crashes. Today, instead of cascading liquidations, those institutional buy walls act as a massive liquidity sponge. When the price dips, firms managing billions of dollars just step in to accumulate at a discount, which effectively raises the price floor and really dampens the severity of any overall crash.
And you can actually see this maturation visually reflected right here in the volatility data. Historically, it was entirely normal to see annualized volatility swinging wildly from 80 to 150%. It was a total roller coaster. But today, that volatility has compressed significantly, down to a much tighter range of 30 to 60%. As options pricing models show, the market is currently pricing in downside protection more expensively than upside risk, which is a classic hallmark of a mature macro asset. It's stabilizing.
Because of this massive structural shift, top financial minds are completely divided right now. You've got the Lanier camp, like Fidelity, arguing that the traditional cycle holds and we are simply due for a rest. Then you have the institutional era camp, like Grayscale and Bitwise, who believe ETFs have structurally broken the old cycle, paving the way for continued growth. And finally, the maturation camp, like Galaxy Digital, suggests the asset will just become a range-bound macroeconomic staple, kind of like gold. Now, we aren't taking sides here, but this fundamental disagreement among the heavyweights proves just how transformative this era truly is.
So the crucial point is that this asset simply no longer trades in isolation. In the early days, price action was almost completely dependent on its internal halving code and the tiny crypto ecosystem. Today, the macro reality is that it trades heavily on global risk appetite. We're seeing strong correlations with the S&P 500 during risk-on environments, and it reacts sharply to federal interest rates and inflation data. It is now a complex macroeconomic asset sitting right alongside traditional equities and commodities.
All right, let's translate all of this into an actionable strategy for you. Because if the market has matured, your approach needs to mature too. Here is the Wall Street playbook for this new era. Step 1. Stop trying to time the market. Trying to guess the exact top or bottom of a 4-year cycle is incredibly dangerous now that institutional algorithms are on the other side of your trade. Step 2. Dollar cost average. Buying small amounts regularly completely neutralizes the stress of day-to-day price swings. And step 3. Hold firm through the macro volatility. The data clearly shows that long-term holders are the ones who benefit the most from this asset's structural maturation.
Which brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. The data clearly shows that Bitcoin has grown up. It's fully transitioned from a wild, retail-driven experiment into a trillion-dollar institutionally anchored fixture of the global financial system. The 4-year cycle might not be entirely dead, but it has absolutely been permanently altered. So the question you have to ask yourself now is, Bitcoin has grown up. Have your investment strategies grown up with it? Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next deep dive.